Ahead on this edition of Food Stuff, from millet to triticale, advice you don't have to take with a grain of salt. You've probably never seen sea parsley before. No one had until 20 years ago. We'll show you why it's worth a look, and we'll give you another reason to add cranberry juice to your diet. Hi, I'm Leslie Beck. Welcome to Food Stuff. The Japanese wrap sushi in it, the Irish make bread with it, and the Scots use it to make soup. I'm talking about seaweed, or more properly, sea vegetables. And maybe it's time you add it to your menu. It's high in fiber, and some varieties are also rich sources of vitamin C and beta-carotene. But where seaweed really shines is as a concentrated source of minerals. Those include potassium, calcium, iron, magnesium, and iodine. Two of the more common varieties are dulse and kelp. And in a moment, we're going to add a very recent discovery to the list. And on this show, we'll also explore the wide world of grains and the benefits of cranberry juice. There's more to it than just preventing bladder infections. In the late 70s, marine scientists made a startling discovery that may change your eating habits. Deep in the cold waters of the Bay of Fundy, they found a burgundy-colored plant, a distant relative of dulse. The aquanauts brought it ashore and grew it in their lab. It was a long leap from lab to the table, but sea parsley has arrived. It's now being grown commercially, and in 1997, it won a gold award from the American Tasting Institute. We asked Chef Roland Glauser to demonstrate the tasty versatility of sea parsley. The sea has long been a tremendous source of food and nourishment for people all over the world. But with a drastic depletion in fish stocks and increasing populations, the need to find new food sources has become increasingly important. Enter a mutant variety of sea plant discovered almost 20 years ago. It's called sea parsley, and it could signal the beginning of a whole new sea-based agriculture called mariponics.
Sea parsley was originally discovered by the National Research Council in the Bay of Fundy. It was gathered as part of a collecting exercise by the National Research Council of seaweed specimens, which they brought back to Ketch Harbour just outside of Halifax. When they opened the boxes of specimens they brought back, they discovered this new strain that was growing as part of a piece of dulse. And so they clipped it off, basically kept it for 16 years until we came along and decided that it had some commercial potential. Initially, Will and I were going to grow it ourselves and just do it in the summer. What we discovered is that you could actually grow it all year round and do it efficiently, and it became almost the basis, if you will, for a whole new food industry. If you look at the economies of growing this product, it is probably one of the more efficient foods that we can grow on the planet. We've in fact developed technologies for culturing the plant that are beneficial to the environment. We have two byproducts. We produce oxygen and clean salt water. There aren't too many food production industries today that can claim that.
Ocean Produce International has two facilities in Nova Scotia. The station in Ketch Harbour is where it all began. All the research for the growing of sea parsley was conducted here.
What we've done in the past 2 years, we've actually developed a culturing technique for sea parsley that involves growing it in 4x4 foot tanks in a column of water that's aerated and is provided with carbon dioxide as required CO2 to replace the CO2 that's consumed by the plant in a photosynthetic process. You have to understand that this is a plant, and so what you're really doing is you're giving it nutrients from the salt water and the benefit of solar energy. And the photosynthesis that then takes place is what produces the growth in the plant.
And talk about growth, sea parsley must be one of the fastest growing plants on the planet. It could even be the subject of a great bee movie.
If you stop and think about how it grows, if we start with a ton this week and we don't harvest it, at the end of the week we'll have 2 tons. If we don't harvest that, in 2 weeks from now we'll have 4 tons. At the end of 3 weeks, we'll have 8 tons. At the end of 4 weeks, we'll have 16 tons. So a week, basically a month after you start with 1 ton, you'll have between 16 and 20 tons.
So it grows like a weed, a seaweed actually, but what can you do with it?
As we experimented, we discovered that if you deep fry it, it tastes like bacon. If you boil it, it tastes like mussels. If you add it to a lemon loaf, it makes it more lemony. All these traits no one had ever known before. And so it became more than a garnish then, it became a vegetable.
The versatility of this remarkable vegetable has not gone unnoticed by the restaurant industry. Take the Charlotte Lane Cafe in Shelbourne, Nova Scotia, for instance.
Today we will be making salted scallops with sea parsley salsa.
Chef Roland Glauser has been experimenting with sea parsley in a number of his dishes. It's quite possible that he heard that sea parsley won an American Taste Gold Award from the American Tasting Institute.
Now at this stage we're going to add some of the salsa. It doesn't really need much.
In addition to sea parsley's great taste, it's a good source of vitamins and minerals.
We produce a food that is highly nutritious. I mean, it's 15 times higher in potassium than bananas. It's 3 times higher in iron than liver. It's as high in vitamin C as an apple. It's higher in beta-carotene than carrots. It's got 19 amino acids, 8 of the essential ones. It's as high in protein as beef or salmon. I mean, this is a really good food.
In this plate here I have some pilaf rice which has curry and saffron, and we're going to serve these scallops around the rice. In this bowl here we have some fresh sea parsley, and we can use some to decorate the plate. And here we have fresh basil leaf, green basil, and here we have opal or purple basil. And here we have salted scallops in sea parsley salsa. It has been very interesting to experiment with new products, and we've had so far a very good response from local people as well as tourists, and we're really excited to continue working with it and try to find new ways to use it.
Algae or sea vegetables are, in fact, in many ways, the food of the future. I mean, as you look around, there's less and less farmland available. There's greater and greater pressures on the ocean. And so what you find is that in the next century, as populations grow and as we increase these pressures on land and water, this is an ideal crop. It grows quickly, it's nutritious, it tastes good, and it's environmentally friendly. It really is the food of the next century and the next millennium.